Hey, greetings everyone. Welcome to Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway, your community for support, friendship, knowledge, and love. And we like to bridge people together from all over the world, bring them in through the gateway and introduce them to you. And we're very happy this evening to have with us again Sarah Soderlund. Thank you for coming, Paranormal Sarah.
Yay, Sarah.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And we have her friend and our special guest, Matthew Slozer.
Yep. Hello.
Hi, Matt.
From the Paranormal Channel. And it's good to have you here as well. And
Thank you.
the two of them do a show together, you guys, on Tuesday nights. They do the astrology readings and interpretations of energies. And then on Sunday nights, Matt's channel on Paranormal has a Sunday Dead, the Sunday Dead program.
Sunday Night Dead.
Sunday Night Dead.
Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
I like that.
So, and together they have such dynamic energy between them, and they're doing such a great job. I've been following them. I don't know astrology very well, so what I've learned from them is incredible in just the past month or so. And then I've been getting into the chat rooms and interacting more with folks as I'm starting to learn more about it. So for me, it's been a very good personal experience to experience their energies, and the degree of their accuracy is astonishing to me. And I've heard a lot of astrologers, and things just don't pan out. And I know they do their best, so I'm not judging anybody. It's just that with these two, they're pretty spot on, in my opinion. So I just wanted to get them on here tonight to talk a little bit about what's going on in the month of December. Lori and I have been watching, getting our downloads, watching folks that we appreciate have been talking about what's going on. And these two, since they're so in sync with their readings, we thought it might be useful as an add-on to the show we had a few weeks ago with Alex, when Alex introduced us to the Vedic astrologers.
Yeah,
and numerologists. So fascinating.
Yeah,
yes.
Excellent show.
So before we get into it, I just want to do a real quick intro so that folks who are watching that are new, we've had about 17 people sign up in the past couple of weeks. So let's do a quick overview real quick of who the folks are. We have Karen, Queen of Courts. She's one of our panelists. Been in the Soul Tribe family forever. And she's our hard rock miner of gemstones, gold, quartz, crystals, you name it, she does it, and she's our web developer for fossils. Yes. Mm-hmm. And Karen is the one that maintains and manages our information portal, which is a worldwide portal for all community members, guests that we have on our programs, through whether it's Milky Way or Nina, Wayne's show, whatever. They all go into this network website so that you can see their products and services and channels and things like that. So we bring people together and share that information. It's good for research too. Lots of research papers on there.
Yeah.
And then we have Julianne Payne from Australia. Everybody knows Jules from Australia.
Our word alchemist.
She breaks down English language and
I undo the spell.
Undoes the spell. Shows you what, lifts that veil and shows you what's real, the true meaning behind these words. So we love having her, and she writes beautiful poetry. We have
and check out Jules' page on the website, because she has her whole page under the community, and it has all her lovely pictures and latest news and her poems and you know, that's
Thanks, Karen.
Oh, it's just awesome, the stuff you send, Jules. Just you make everybody's day every day. It's unbelievable.
That's
Well, it's to get people to think outside the box, hey.
That's right. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, the
Makes
program.
people think. Makes people think.
Yeah.
And Dalibor, Suki. I always say Suchi, but
Suki.
Suki.
Doesn't
known as
matter.
Sun Rabbit sometimes. And this confused people. He goes by Sun Rabbit in the chat rooms. Max. Hi, Max Vision.
Hi,
And
Max.
and so Dalibor is an all-around guy. I mean, he does all kinds of research. He's scientific. He's been to banking. He's got a lot of experience, and he knows just so much about the pyramids and what's going on with that. And we love having him on the program. And he's from Czechoslovakia, living in Germany, right, Dalibor?
Yes.
It's like 3 a.m. where you are, and it's
Yes, it is.
lunchtime where
He's a
Jules
night owl.
is. Ah!
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
we go to Aruba, where we have Alex
Yes.
Fawkes. Hi, Alex. Welcome back.
Everybody.
Alex
Good to
is
have you
sitting
here, Alex.
outside,
Hello.
enjoying the evening air in Aruba. While the
Nice.
rest of us in the States are freezing, Alex, well, some of us are. Alex is in Aruba, and he is our resident numerologist. So you see, we have a full group here tonight, and Lori, of course, is our director and producer of the show, and one of the original co-founders of the Andromeda Gateway show. She has her own show, Pure Love Ascension. You will see her in the chat rooms as Pure Love Ascension, and sometimes she goes in as Andromeda.
Mhm.
But
Right.
she hosts this platform. She's the host for the platform, for the YouTube channel, on all the hardware issues, and she does all the graphic design and video work. So she works her little butt off to keep everything going on this channel, to keep all this other YouTubers
Labor of love.
busy.
Labor of love.
Yeah.
Oh, and before I forget too, Dalibor Sun Rabbit has his whole page on the network too. So he has
Yep.
all his latest articles always posted there, and his adventures and everything. And everybody's spread throughout everything on the network. Check out the adventures page too, and more of the story. So those two areas are really
We've
cool
got
too.
a promo for you at the end of the show to
Oh yeah,
highlight
Karen,
all
you
that
missed
for
it
you. So,
Friday.
yeah.
There.
We have
Yeah,
a really,
we have a
but
little
you'll see
video.
it tonight. You'll see it
Oh,
tonight.
there you go.
Yeah.
So I'll let Lori do the shout out in the chat room, and then we'll get back to more specifics. With
Yeah,
Matt and Sarah.
let's acknowledge everybody in chat real quick. Deborah Sloan, good to have you with us. You've been away for a while, so I'm glad you got the internet back. That's awesome. Brenda, Milky's mom, always a pleasure. Love seeing you here. Delaney Pearl Jones, good to see you as well. Hi, Max. Hi, Field Guy. Good to see you guys. Scotty Boy, always a pleasure. Love seeing you here as well. Let's see who else. Caroline Bovin. How you doing, Caroline? I know you moved into your new place. I bet you're loving it, and well deserved. All right, that's about it for now. So welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, good to see everyone. Thank you for being here. And for those who are listening and not in the chat, we appreciate your support every week. And we're glad you're enjoying the show. Thank you for the feedback and all the messages. It really is helpful to know what's going on. So, Matt and Sarah,
Yeah.
we wanted to bring you in here tonight because there is so much stuff going on in December. It's like wackadoodle insane month.
Oh my God. You're
I
not
mean,
joking.
from day to day, it's like a freaking.
It's
you
really
know?
day to day. It's really day to day.
Yeah, it
And
is.
and when I think of that, Matt's definitely my go-to for specifics, because it's that, how is the energy moving? Sometimes I look at the planets as a filter, like a personality, but the way they're moving is more scientific in nature, and he's kind of the chemist of the two of us. So being able to predict, it's that when you mention the predictability being more accurate, it's total math, which I don't do that stuff. That's why
Universal language.
it is. Oh
Mhm.
my goodness, is it ever? And it's one of those, I wish I could go back in class when teachers like, you're never going to use this, nor are you going to have a calculator on you. And it's like, well, guess what? You were wrong. However, I do use this, and it's like in farming, it's in alchemy, it's in chemistry, it's in all of this stuff.
Mhm.
And astrology is no different. So Matt kind of sees it in that way naturally, and being able to have the prediction and the movement. December's a lot of crazy energy. Yeah. I mean,
I was gonna say we're like a good like yin and yang, and she's like I'm more the numbers person and she's the word person. I've never talked to somebody before that I'll have a conversation and she'll be like, Matt, you used the word stress 13 times. Like other people, people in casinos might try to count cards. She counts words, and so
that's why I love Julie in this show, is because when I think of linguistics, it's that the words and the language of your cognitive structure, and like seeing how is somebody moving in this space, like, if we're in a particular space astrologically, and you think, okay, I expect people to move this way, but then their language is completely different. It's to me, it's another predictor. It's like a really good profiling tool, and it allows me to feel more comfortable and prepared from day to day. So that's how I like to use it.
I love the way you put that. It's a predictor and a profiling tool.
Yeah. And I know profile is a dirty word sometimes. I don't mean it in that way. I do mean it objectively, like just the ability to, never give a guarantee, but have an idea of what's likely to happen so that you aren't so surprised or shocked. You can kind of prepare and prevent if at all possible, not control, but watch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of view it as it's like the energetic currents. So as things shift, if you don't do anything at all and you're just like floating in the water, the current will take you wherever it's going to go. It's that kind of thing. It's not going to force you to do anything, but if you have an awareness of kind of the directions that the energies are flowing, you can kind of adjust and kind of recalibrate.
You'll know where the rocks are, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll know
where the fish are.
Oh, there's one coming up right there. I'm going around that one.
Right. Where to swim and where to just be like, okay, I'm just going to float.
Yeah,
just
I think I'll float.
Yes. You got to know. And you got to that comes with experience, trial and error, but also being able to watch from the banks and kind of, know where to put your effort and to not take it personally. I think for me, I work in mental health, and Matt works in more like professional spaces doing
chemistry.
Doing all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah. Doing business and chemistry on these advanced levels. And so seeing how it applies in both spaces, for me, it's knowing, okay, I don't have to think, man, am I losing my stuff? Am I crazy? It's today, Wednesday, December 15th. Neptune is in Pisces. So there's going to be some
that's why. That explains everything.
There's going to be some help me, I'm drowning, and people, kicking in a darn quicksand, and that's exactly what you need not do in quicksand. So if you know that, to just do that.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll quick add too is this is maybe a little bit more detailed, but we talk about this a lot, that if you know the makeup of your birth chart and then the alchemy, the second piece of this, of kind of where your elements are strong, you can kind of look at where the bulk of the elements are now, and that can kind of adjust kind of how you feel too. Like for me, I have next to no water in my chart, so I always talk about this. When there's heavy water, when there's lots of planets in water, a lot of emotional energy, I will be very unsettled. And we've done it in the show, and I can predict it that 3 days from now I'm going to just emotionally feel bleh, and it almost always happens when there's stuff in water. That's me. People with different makeups would get influenced different ways by that alchemy and the elements that the signs are in.
He's a dry cookie.
Almost sounds like preventative maintenance or preventative health. Because if you know what your astrological chart looks like, and you know what your numerology charts are like, and you know about yourself, and then you're looking at what's going on with these other energies, you can map out a weekly activities list, or be aware. Just being aware is important enough as it is.
That's it.
Why am I having this emotional reaction today? Oh, I know why.
Because I'm in tune.
Once you realize, you can shift that energy once you realize it.
Yeah, I just wanted to quick add that I learned that, and that's one of the things that's really been helpful for me is I build in, when I know it's a heavy water day, I'll build in a lot of extra like self-care stuff. Like I'll try not to do anything overly stressful if I can help it, and kind of work in some downtime, because I know ahead of time this day will be a little more stressful than normal, just emotionally. And again, it's those currents. It's not like you're a slave to it or anything. It's just you got to know where those nudges are coming and be able to kind of adapt to it.
Make the adjustment. Yeah.
Make that adjustment.
Yeah. Matthew, I just want to ask quick then, what's your rising sign?
Leo.
Okay, so you have a fire sign. So believe it or not, to balance, what I would do on those water days when you're overwhelmed with a chart that's full of water is, as you know, with what I learned with your rising sign, it's how you you go through the world and how the world sees you. So everything comes through the rising sign to all your other planets. And so what I found is that that's what you use, the element you use to beef up your power or your energy. So being a fire sign, so on those days, do fire rituals or do fire ceremonies and bring in and use your fire energy on those days. So for example, happen to be a water sign on my rising, and so the days that I need to balance myself, when I need extra energy and to calm myself, I always use water. So it's my power sign. I use my water. So if you have an earth rising sign, so you would ground yourself in the earth. So you'd plant your feet whenever you need to use your earth energy. So it's really important. And then the same with air. So if you're air person and it's your rising sign, then you would go into a wind or go up in the mountains or go into the wind to gather that energy.
Now that's interesting. That's going to be extremely helpful because my chart is very earth air. So there's a little fire, there's no water. So I have always gravitated to earth air type stuff, not necessarily fire. So that is a great thing. I will have to give that a try.
So earth and air, yeah. So you can use those, but if it has to do with your, like I said, just particularly your rising sign energy and using your rising sign, particularly of what that is and that element. And it's part of your lessons. And so you do probably tend to use your earth and your air all the time. So I'm suggesting then on those days to use your fire element of that energy coming in and out of your body and using that.
That's really helpful. Thank you very much.
So
that's awesome.
Cool. Go ahead.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
It's one of the methodology of like holistic and natural medicine. It's just accessible, and often people want to go like, what's going to be the right thing? Is it going to be diet? Is it going to be exercise? I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. There is no right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's not a moral, ethical decision. In many ways, it can be an alchemical decision. And if you just know what you like, you know your body, what you like to receive, what you're made up of, what the stars were doing the day you were plopped out here, man, you get a good idea of where to start. And there is no right or wrong. You just get to try it out.
That's true. Very true.
For sure.
Cool.
There's a whole different perspective, though, because somebody shared with me their numerology charts, and I was looking them over, and it was spot on for this person's personality.
Oh wow!
Everything, and I looked at that today, and I just something clicked in my head, and boom, it's like, my God, if you know this about yourself and you're aware of these, it's like, when you used to not be awake and you took bare asprin for the day. You took your
put a Band-Aid on it.
And you put a Band-Aid on. But this is kind of like, I'm not saying it's set in stone or it's exact and precise. I'm just saying that it's a good barometer.
It's more objective than people think.
Yeah. And I was like Matt. I started out going, I go, I see, it's like a horoscope. Well, no, it's not. There's a lot more to it than that, and I've been learning more and more about it, but not understanding its full application until I started listening to you too.
Oh, that makes my heart happy because I feel that way. Yeah. I'm still learning it as every day goes by. But I remember at one point in my life thinking, like, as I was trying to be raised Christian one weekend and gypsy another weekend between divorced parents.
Wow.
Right? They were divorced. It didn't last. And that which one is right? What about all the children in Africa that don't know about Jesus? Are they going to hell? Like right and wrong. And that, man, astrology is in the Christian Bible. Astrology is in Greek stories. It's in Egyptian personification. It's everywhere. Anyone's ancestors have used it. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you can look up and regardless of what you're thinking or what God is coming out of the clouds or what struggles you're having, the stars will be there. The moon will greet you. The sun will rise.
Yeah.
It's romantic. And the fact that it's mathematical is just cool.
I view it, and I've used this as an example before. It's not the cause. It's like a tell. Like when the whole universe got rolling, these angles and things. It's like if you see leaves changing in the fall, winter is coming. The leaves changing doesn't cause the cold weather. It's an indicator. That's kind of how I view these things. It's not, it's not this motion.
This means this.
Of these planets causing this. It's more of a tell of the energies that are going on in the universe around you.
This means this. Yeah. It's
also,
slightly different.
It tends to illustrate more like tendencies instead of like specific things for, set in stone. Like according to my sun sign and place of birth, which is Czechoslovakia, you would think I would be an excellent tennis player, a hockey player. No. As a matter of fact, I'm probably the only person who flunked phys ed in high school. So
what happened? What happened? Stars were aligned.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean exactly just because that it's going that way. It's just one of those indicators of, is it likely that when Willow set the little baby on the river and it goes, barreling down the way, that it's going to end up down the river? Yes. How long and when? It's like, well, it depends on if you know rate and inertia and all that stuff. But the generalization is about that direction. And if you walk along the water, you'll find it. And, it's like it gives you an idea. It's not a in stone, just, predestined thing that's going to make sure, regardless of your choice, that this just happens. It's an awareness of, oh, I'm on the path less traveled. Cool. I should do this or not do that. Just changes the path a little bit, gives you some more awareness of where you are, gives you more choices.
True. Very
That's
true.
always great.
Choice.
Yeah.
Alex, did you have a question for Sarah or Matt at this point, or anything you want to know in particular?
Cancer represent emotion, right? So I heard that the full moon is going to be on the 17th on the January, which is going to represent emotions of people coming out, through intention of people coming out, something like that.
So the January 2022 full moon, when I think of Cancer, I know Matt and I, we kind of have seen it in different, well, we use different analogies. I do see it as the crab. So I see the crab coming in the water and out on the beach. So that earth, but then the water's always moving. So man, he can't build his house just somewhere. It's always changing. You're not quite sure. So there's a fluctuation that's malleable based on the environment. And that kind of tells. but Matt, I like the way you describe it when you do it. How
the turtle one?
The turtle.
I think another good analogy, even though it's not the symbol associated with it, is a turtle. It's got its home on its back. It's out there moving, but anything
does have a soft shell.
Anything emotionally threatens a Cancer, they will clam up and pull in. They're very security oriented because of their it's actually my opposite sign. I'm a Cap, so I find I click a lot with Cancers. I happen to find a lot of Cancers end up in my life.
Hello.
So
Hello, Matt. I'm on the 22nd of July.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing is, to the crab part, though, I always say too, it's a cardinal sign, so they drive things. But it's Cancers and Libras drive things indirectly, and they do it in different ways. But so if you think of a crab moves forward by going side to side, and that's kind of what you'll see with a Cancer. So they're not going to, Caps and Aries are going to be more just straight at you. A Cancer is still going to, even though they're very security driven, they're still going to drive and initiate things, but they're going to do it indirectly.
I think of a water droplet when it's going down a mountainside and how it trickles. Like a water droplet doesn't ever do a straight line usually. It naturally bends with the way that things are in a very
path of least resistance. Definitely.
Yeah. And I feel like there's that kind of a pull. And I mean, depending on how apocalyptic people want to get for the solstice next week, I think that means people are going to have a deep emotional connection to some of the life changes they see forcibly happening in their life, and how they're going to just adjust to it. You know, the Native American wolf moon. Oh, it's cathartic, and it's you know, declaration of what it is you're hunting and what you're after, and it's a warning, but it's not. It's just there. It's just movement. You know, I think it'll be powerful. It'll be a great thing to watching people. They'll be showing their emotion. But we have a full moon coming up this Saturday that I think is probably a little bit more entertaining. Want to be glutton for punishment in that way, but I mean, this Saturday, Matt, the full moon in Gemini. When you think of Gemini, what do you think of?
Yeah. Okay. So the analogy I use on the Gemini one is so this, and I'm gonna hit both these. I just want to do this really quick. How I do the moon cycles is I view like the sign under the new moon's the theme, and then the full moon is like the crescendo. So, to Alex, to your point, if it's a Cap cycle, so the new moon's in Cap, that's achievement, you know, going after things, climbing that little mountain. And then I view the full moon at Cancer. When you think about that, if you're trying to take on something new and you're halfway out there, kind of like at that point of no return, that's where you start getting those doubts and maybe feeling a little insecure. And man, I'm really feeling a little exposed here. I wish I was back home. I wish I was in my shell. I wish I was, you know, back at grandma's house kind of deal. That's like the peak. And that's where you're going to have that energy of, do you follow through with it or do you pull back? And so that's how I see that cycle. Now, the one that we're currently in, this is an interesting one. Gemini. So Gemini and Sag, I view them as like the most extroverted of the signs. And so I view like at a party, a Gemini is the social butterfly floating around talking to everybody. And the Sag is the one breaking beer cans on their heads and wanting to jump out the second floor window into the pool.
So true.
So this is that dynamic, that cycle. So you have the full moon or the new moon in Sag, which is again, do things. You know, sure, why not? Is the motto I use for it. It's you know, go ahead. We're going to try something new. We're going to explore. Gemini, also that dual nature. I always go to the road less traveled. So you have the two paths. Which ones are you going to take? So sure, why not? Now at the peak, at the full moon, you have this decision point. Which way do I want to go? I have options on these things I want to explore. Which path do I want to take? And so energetically, I say that is like the peak of where you're going to have that pressure of I want to act and do something different. Which path am I going to take?
Which way?
Yeah, good one.
Right? I always think of the labyrinth. Which way? Yes, which way? Which way? There's options, and I think people are kind of feeling that pull right now. Maybe some career options. Maybe some, should I invest in this hobby and really make that change, since the pandemic wasn't just a 2-week, 3-week, 4-week thing. It's like reassess. You know, and that might be a major life decision. And how are you going to feel about it? That's going to roll around, of course, after the first of the new year in January in that Cancer space. But this Saturday, we're going to be seeing a lot of the, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Which way do I go, George?
We're already starting to see that. Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of indecision.
A lot
of indecision. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think? Well, what do you think? What'd they say? Well, what'd they say? I don't know. We don't know. Who knows? Like, you got to have a little bit more either faith or belief or something, you know, otherwise you're going to blow away. So anchor down.
You'll have a lot of people using people as sounding boards on Saturday as they try to hash stuff out.
Matt said so. Matt told us we could do that. So go back to Matt. I'm going to do that shit. Crap.
Yeah, everybody just go to Sarah and Matt. And
and they're going to do that. Well, I heard on the podcast that's why I'm doing. Now, come on now. Don't. You know that intention. It's that subtle difference between exploit. Like, you knew what you were doing when you did it. Just navigate, don't exploit. and it takes a little extra thought, less action. And right now there's a lot of fire in the space around moving that Sagittarius, that weird half-breed creature that once had a scorpion tail back in the Sumerian times and had all these bits and parts. I mean, that's a man with all the parts, ladies. So who knows what he's capable of? And he's out there hunting things down. Do it.
Has anybody here ever delved into Terence McKenna's theory of time wave zero, that we're actually approaching that great attractor? Because, like, if you look at modern events, like, yes, every single event, every single past year has been a watershed year, watershed month, watershed week, whatever, but it's getting to be more and more watershed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
You know
have.
what
I
I
think
mean?
I think he called it. I think it was 50,000 time frame he had. 50,000 year. Yeah, I have it written down actually.
64 to the power of 64, I believe he said, because he went by the I Ching.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know the I Ching was involved in it, but I know that because I work again in mental health. So like schizophrenics talking to aliens. We've got our
That's
schizophrenics.
standard.
Right. Very right. So we've got I'm tapped into some people is what I'm saying. So we've got aliens over here, we've got conspiracy theorists over here. We've got the astronomers, numerology, Sumerian, ancient Mayan, religion, theologian people, everybody kind of tuning into some major stuff going on right now. Major change. I kind of like the idea of that once being in the Pisces, where all of the religious icons were emotional. They were sacrificing. They were martyrs. They were bloodletting. They were bleeding out on a cross. They were starving on a hill. They were celibate on a mountain. You know, now in the age of Aquarius, it's TikTok influencers. It's quantum source coding. It's the internet. It's media. It's digital. It's space. It's air. It's kind of shifted. The god has shifted. I kind of think that's creepy and cool. And it affects us, right? People don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know what their purpose is.
Very lost.
Guided.
Affecting everybody.
Always searching. Yep. Trying to figure it all out.
Well, look at it, just the world in general. You can see that we're in the transition phase between the two, right?
The metaverse.
Just like you said, from the old energy to the new, like you say, from the old age to the new age of Aquarius, and we did the transition and the move. So we were, especially depending your age, with my age, and others, we've been here long enough to have experienced enough within the end of the Pisces and this whole transition, right? I mean, I was a kid and it was still black and white television, for goodness sake. So I mean,
We had one telephone and it was in the kitchen on the wall.
Oh my God, we had a party.
That's
party
right.
line. What are you talking about? Party lines.
Yeah.
And party line. Oh my God.
No call waiting. You had to remember telephone numbers.
Yeah.
So even just the leaps and bounds that we've made within, like you say, just the last 100 years as we're speeding towards this new age, it's just been phenomenal, just unbelievable, crazy. So, and we're just right in the transition. Yeah.
Well, and it's both like awe-inspiring, but also kind of, I don't know, there's a small sadness maybe too, but also a crazy awareness. Like, think about this, guys, and I forget what movie it was because it was just a blip that was given to me as like an inspirational quote, but it really hit me deeply, especially kind of recently getting into astrology and following with Matt along that journey of a woman saying, we are the generation of people that all of our ancestors before us looked up to the same sky, the same constellations. And though it's changed a little, we are the first generation where there are synthetic satellites and fake trash.
Yeah.
And the sky has changed. It is man-made and it is different. And we're the first generation to see both, to know what it looked like before.
That's very true.
Well, the question is this movement
Yes and no, because actually we've had major changes in our systems in the past as well. So they've been past at ancient generations and our ancient selves that have experienced the same type of big changes within our universe, and especially depending what theory you follow. If you follow worlds in collision and different things. So yeah. No.
Think about the populations of kids out there on a trash heap digging for their food and always kind of knowing the stars and suddenly seeing Starlink. You think they're wondering if aliens are finally coming?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be shifting people that aren't familiar with the Chinese and the wars happening and and just it looks like ropes of alien arms, like War of the Worlds coming down. And if you didn't know what that was, that would be pretty scary. I mean, even though I kind of maybe don't even completely know what it is, it's still scary to see. And I think, man, that's got to be terrifying if you didn't even know that we're up there doing some sort of space race.
How do you handle that with your little boy, with your son, Sarah? How old is he now?
I've got a 7 and a 9-year-old.
Oh, do you have two of them? Okay,
I got 2.
7 and 9.
Yeah.
And how do you cope? I mean, do you tell them anything about astrology? Do you try to get them? Yeah,
I do. And it's kind of fun. Matt and I, both being parents, him, of course, having quadruplets, which is mind blowing to me.
Wowza.
Whoa.
And they're all in college. They're all college aged right now at the same time.
God, 4 in college at the same time.
5! Because there's an older one.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
But mine are just tiny little guys. But we both kind of integrate our paranormal adventures and our astrology. My boys, we do a lot of Nordic storytelling and like the story of Balder with the mistletoe at Christmas time, and Yule and the solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere being the return to light, and, salamanders, breaking out of the logs on fire, which is, giving birth to dragons, and the mascot of the fire alchemy. And, they watch Airbender and certain shows like Frozen 2 and a lot of the cartoons that they really integrate a lot of that stuff. And if you're not paying attention, you're like, oh, it's a good story. It's really great. But if you've paid attention to it, you're like, holy cow, I appreciate that. That's actually kind of accurate. Water does hold memory. Good job, Olaf. And, and sure. And so it's my kids, they'll watch like the Spiderwick Chronicles. I remember my heart being happy the first time they watched the Spiderwick Chronicles. And there's the opening scene where it pans over the taxidermy and the butterflies and the dead bones, and my son turned around and he goes, that's like your office, Mom. You are a witch. And I was like, I've been telling you this, son. I've been telling you this. And it kind of, he felt a little special, and it gives flavor to science, but they're both correlating to each other all the time. So I like it.
That's cool. You're seeing it more and more in movies and shows, the metaphysical thing. You can see the shift happening, different types of movies, especially the superhero ones that have been coming out.
Marvel.
Marvel.
Avengers.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're seeing all of that spirituality in there as well. So it's that shift. Nice. It's happening to all of us.
Well, I don't want to say I feel bad for, because I don't go to pity parties. But like, I know that for a while there was a struggle with like Harry Potter and, a lot of very strict religious communities saying, you know what, that's a gate to the demons. And in many ways it can be, because it's a lot of information. If you don't know where it comes from, it opens curiosity for sure. You want to know about gems and rocks and owls and all the things, because it's cool. It is cool, but it's a lot too. And I think in many ways,
what are some of the tools that you use, Sarah, for getting access to the information about the movement of the planets in the solar systems and the stars and constellations? What tools do you use,
Matt?
Really? So
yes,
Matt feeds you the data.
It's he is more of that Excel spreadsheet and ability to on our Tuesday night show that we do at 9 p.m. we go week by week. So we just take a week.
Yeah.
And I use 3 different websites and 3 different astrologers, and I'll listen to their podcast while I'm in the bath or while I'm exercising or something. And so it's almost unconscious. I'm like, ooh, okay, yep, I can feel that. Yep. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. And then I write it down. I make sure that my 2 websites are kind of right with my Farmer's Almanac. I get a Witch's Almanac from Llewellyn. That's my publisher. So you go there and get an almanac if you want, but they're anywhere. And then Matt usually will be like, yep, nope, that's not right. The moon's in Sagittarius. That's not right. And I'll be like, oh, okay, good. And we fix it. And then when we go through our podcast, we just do day by day and say, okay, this is kind of generally what it means. This is what I know that it means, coming from a feminine, yin, forensic psychologist perspective.
Yeah.
And then he jumps in and goes, oh, well, I'm the mathematician that knows the correlation, and this is kind of the predictive measure, and this is the objective adjectives. And then we put it all together and send it out to our coven and group and podcast listeners and everybody that wants it for free. So it's like a check. And I think that, like you said, that balance of being that yin and yang has really served us well.
Yeah, I just add, I know I've said this on the podcast before, but the way I structure it, and we were talking about party lines and black and white TV shows, so I guess most of you guys will know what I'm talking about this. When I was a kid, there used to be these books you would get that you could change the story. There'd be like 3 panels, and then you like flip the panels, and whatever panel you do would go. I almost do it that way. If you have planet, sign, element, what the aspect is, and then planet, sign, element. And so you get all those things together and then you synthesize it. And so I just kind of do it as like a sentence and then kind of talk it out. So I actually like when we do it, I actually like doing it cold during the show. So she will say the aspects and then I'll kind of mentally work it out.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Because I'm the Virgo. My first 4 signs are all Virgo. So I've overthought it, thought it over again. And then I put a song to it. And then I give it to Matt to tell me what's wrong with it, criticize it, please. That's just the Virgo way. And it turns out that it actually works really well. So
I noticed you take a snapshot. You do 1 week at a time. So it coincides with your Tuesday night. So you talk Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you're doing that 1 week at a time. Have you ever been asked by a client or a friend or a subscriber to go beyond 1 week?
Months and years.
You could do. So there's a way of tracking these movements based on their projections. Is that it? Their
progressions.
Progression.
Their progressions.
There's something even cooler. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So what do you use, Matt, then? What's cooler?
There's a thing called, and I think based on some of the comments here, some of you guys will be familiar with it. There's something called a solar return and a lunar return. And so the solar return is every time the sun gets back to the spot that it was at when you were born. But the other planets are all going to be in different spots. So you can use that, and you can use those aspects to kind of make predictions and kind of look at what your year is going to be like. You can do the same thing monthly on something called a lunar return, where the moon, once a month, the moon's going to hit the exact same angle that it was at the time you were born. So you can look at that, and that can give you indications as to what's going on during the month. Then you can go ahead and you can take those and compare it to what we do. We don't do personal ones. We're doing where the main planets are. You can look at angles on your birth chart. You can look at all different things on there. And then somebody mentioned progressions. That's the other piece too. Is you can look at, there's different versions, but one is you move every planet 1 year is 1 day. So actually within 30 years, your sun would actually move into a different sign, and it doesn't change your sun sign, but it can add different nuances to. That's a different thing, but I mean, the solar and the lunar returns is what I would look at for predictive type things. It's not the only thing, but it's the one I like.
And again, there's no right or wrong, and there's a few different ways of doing it, this way, that way. But the stars are predictive, and like science, if you know you're a dry cookie and you add some milk, you know what's going to happen. If you know you're a lemon bar and you add some more flour, you know what's going to happen. It's you can play kerplunket with your life. You can't say with certainty, like a Sith, that this is going to happen.
Right.
You'll have free will. Yeah.
Right. But you can say with that kerplunket, oh, if I start over here, the likelihood Oh, okay. And it gives you that ability to feel a sense of control, an ability to prevent, a little bit more comfort in what's happening. Yeah.
Sounds like awareness.
It's
Yeah.
A sense of awareness.
Are there some aspects that are cyclical and predictive in the sense that there are certain events or certain energies that are going to almost ultimately take place every solstice or every January or every February? The reason I'm asking the question is because what I've noticed is that we're going through, it's almost like history repeating itself. Everything that I'm hearing the astrologers say about the month of December, going into January and going into February, is almost identical to what they said last year.
Ooh, Matt, I'll let you tackle this because mine is more conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so I have a little different view on this.
I'll take them both.
What might be driving this right now is Saturn and Jupiter are moving through the signs together. Jupiter is expansion. The analogy I give is like a car pulls up and door swings open and it's like, come on in, we're going to it. It's expansive, it's opportunity, it's doing things. Saturn's the opposite. Think rings. So Saturn's restrictions. So you have opportunity and restrictions moving through the same energies at the same time. So if you think about this, last year they were both in Capricorn. Structure, Saturn and Capricorn, it's its home sign. Think about what happened in 2021 or 2020. It's all merging together. 2020. You can't go to restaurants. You must put cloth on your face. You must do this. You must rules. Aquarius is kind of the rebellious energy. They both move into Aquarius in January of this year. What happens? We have a revolt in the Capitol. We have protests. We have people burning and breaking crap. In different spots. It's this big pushback. So I might be wrong, but that might be what you're hearing at these end of the year things. Is you have these two planets that have a very interesting and opposite energy in the same signs moving together. So you're going to have this kind of double dose of energy in that space. Eventually, they're starting to pull again. I don't know if you remember, right around Christmas, it was like they said, it was like the Christmas star. They were on top of each other.
Yes.
It's kind of a neat event. They're starting to pull away. So eventually, Jupiter will go into Pisces and Saturn will still be in Aquarius. I don't know exactly how far out that is, but that kind of moving together is going to stop in the future.
I don't look out that far ahead because it's too much for my brain to handle. But one could if they wanted.
Yeah.
It just seems like we're right back to where we were this time last year. With something really big's going to happen, and it's probably going to be in government, and it has to do with the vaccine, and then it's the same language.
It is very similar. It is very similar.
What's your rabbit hole theory on that?
Oh, well, it's a lot. It's one of those kind of a big working machine where, working in mental health, you see certain patterns of behavior like seasonal depression. So when I see that organism and that beautiful dynamic of connection that menstrual cycles with the moon, and you link up with people and their hormones, and we feel a certain way in the winter. We start this time of year, all the animals and a full moon, it's bright outside. So everyone's like, oh, look, it's bright out. I'm going to stick my head out of this hole. Honk! Predators have been waiting for that moment. So there's a lot of death. If it's a new moon, it's dark. So everyone's in their hidey hole. People are more isolated. People are less manic. Like there's certain behaviors of alchemy and chemistry that humans tend to move with. And so this time of year, it seems like in that northern hemisphere, people isolate. So that means more mental health, less delegation. Then you have less resources. So then people are getting sick. People are not knowing they're getting sick. There's more guilt. There's more, there's just a certain residual. So like in the paranormal, we say like, this time last year or the last 300 years when the sun aligned this way before, this was the fall of the Republic. This was the Byzantine era. Like this was Nero on a hill playing his fiddle, watching the world burn. Like times before when these alignments were there was a lot of fire energy. A lot of people going, the hell with it. It's the end of the world anyway. I don't care. You only live once. And it's like, whoa, And if one person does that, we are connected. Kevin Bacon knows us all. And so you will burn, you will feel it. And I feel like there is that pattern. It's the 4 components of homeostasis, where you have a change reaction, you receive it, you adjust, and then it equals. And then China does HARP, and then we get weird weather and tornadoes, and everyone dies. And then this goes over there, and it's like, it's this flow that helps us feel really deeply connected, and it is extremely predictable. And some of it is astrological, as well as like economical, sociological. And I think it's a way of predicting control too, which we see happening in certain ways, like the holidays. I don't like that they're moving the holidays. I'm real upset with that, by the way. Yeah. There's a reason that they are the times that they are.
You know what? This is just like creepy, because it's like, just as there are so many of us who can use this to our mental health and health advantage to get sort of a sense of what's coming, so we can, monitor ourselves. There are those that could actually conceivably take advantage of what they know are the patterns and then do shit.
Ooh.
To screw with your timeline or your reality. That's so they're using astrology for more nefarious, controlling behaviors, right?
There are definitely energies. We've said it on the show that there's certain days that if you're a car salesman or selling like big expensive luxury items, that these are the days to really push, because there's impulsive energies out there. So people are going to be more susceptible to getting sold stuff. And so absolutely.
Coercion, influence, but we would like to believe, all of you people out there interested in nefarious things, that karma, not an evil monster chasing you, but that you have become what you have done. So if you operate in that frequency, you operate in that frequency, and that is your power of choice, and you can do that. But if you do that, you hang around shit, you're going to start smelling like shit. It's proximity, and the power of choice to use it nefariously means that you'll find yourself being nefarious and people thinking nefarious things about you, because lo and behold, you're in that space. Ugh. But it is accurate, and you can use it. But I liked, again, it's that subtle exploitation. When I'm working with sex offenders or violent offenders and we're talking about recidivism, it's that if you're charming and that, if you have something on your Batman, you've got great cleavage, you've got beautiful eyes, you're really smart, that's God's gift to you. Is it wrong to use that? No. Is that wrong to use that if you know that it hurts someone? Well, that's exploitation. And sometimes that's illegal. Sometimes it's immoral. Sometimes it's unethical. But at the very least, it can ruin your reputation. And that's all you got is your reputation, teeth, and credit. So walk carefully, And so, manipulation is totally there. But I like to see it as more like, there's alligators in the water. Let's not swim in that water today. And someone's like, yeah, we should probably tell John to go swimming. Hey, now. Don't do that. Let's just not go swimming in the water.
Well, you just solidified and answered, the question is, I asked myself a year ago, even 2 years ago, why astrology? Why do I care? You just frickin' answered it by affirming something that I've been suspecting, is when we see things that are cyclical like this, if we know about it, so do they, and they can manipulate your response, your emotions, and they can influence your thinking and the way you're feeling by projecting. And this goes back to something that Lori and I were talking with Gloria about on Open Minds, where they can project their reality into yours. And so knowing astrology, or knowing a little bit about it, or at least following it, or having someone like you, or making appointments with an astrologist to get these readings, is probably a really good idea, because it gives you a feeling for what they might be trying to do, so you can be aware of it. I mean, I'm aware that it's happening, yes, but I'm not aware on a week-to-week basis or
it's a good guideline.
Yeah, just to know, hey, if I'm feeling this over here, or if things aren't going the way I planned, there's something. What is that? Oh, it could be
It's
something
not
from
me, the
somewhere else.
broken, horrible person that
Right.
fucks everything up.
Exactly.
It's this. And that you can use that or be aware of that is really and what's also interesting in that space intuitively. So like I get my readings from Matt, astrologically speaking, even though I know I can use astrology as a tool.
Right.
But because I know it, I also know that my own intuition is that I'm going to be biased. I'm going to be suggestive. And so I'll go to someone wanting their additional intuition to come through. And so when we're working to sharpen our intuition, sometimes it's that like, man, I'm thinking this, but that's crazy. I'm going to sound crazy if I don't know. Where's this coming from? And we have skepticism and doubt. It gets stuck between our ears too long. What I love is that in astrology, I can be like, you know what? I already know this is going to happen. Oh, you know what? That's going to happen. Yep, because that's going to. Oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And there's very little skepticism, and my ego feels really good about it. And then Matt, I get his adjectives that are like, the flow is going to do this in this direction because of this perpendicular pattern. And it's like, ha, ha, yes. Okay, I'm going to do it Thursday. And I'm going to say no. And that's going to be great. And I'm going to feel good about it. And if it doesn't go my way, I'm not going to feel like it was a wrongful decision. I'm going to go, no whammies.
Yeah.
You're settled in your choice.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Teresa. Like I can like what you're talking about as far as patterns and cycles, and what I've used astrology for is exactly that over all these years, is to get to know your own patterns and your cycles. They're very cyclical. You know, when you do something every month or every once a year, whether it's your Saturn 7-year cycle. I know exactly when I'm going to want to move. I know exactly when I should be changing jobs. It's for myself as a tool, and I even know when to start projects, based on when certain alignments are that are going to be my strengths, and and follow the patterns of astrology. So that's what I use them, and I progress them throughout, as I progress through the years, of course. So yeah, when no, definitely. So you can plan everything to know when to make your moves and when not to make your moves, and that has to do with both positive and negative, and with everybody, like they said, in the world, the government leaders throughout history have always used astrology to know when to make decisions.
Yeah, like signing contracts and retrograde.
Everything, yes. Let's put it this way. When I bought a business one time with a partner, 15 years ago, it was based on the astrological chart and based on a business chart, and we even signed it at exactly a certain time, right down to the minute. So
that's a witch. That's a witch.
Now, Alex, I see I definitely, after Lori gave me a little nudge off the high dive today, she's forever giving me these little boink, and I'm like, ah! But I'm always like, wow, really? Expand. But Alex, the connection between your numerology, like your birth number, your angel number, your life path, your soul personality, when you get that profile together, and then you get your astrological, because this tells you more about yourself and your inner self and who you are, so you can get to know yourself better. And then the astrological chart that you get, you put the two together, you really have a wonderful profile, if you will. Not a criminal profile, but a profile. Well, I don't know. It could be.
Yeah.
But it really is a good profile, a foundation, if you will, without having to be an exact science. So that then you get your weekly readings or your monthly readings, and is that how this all works? Am I getting this right? You have your numerological charts, you have your astrological charts, and then you have your week or month to month. And so you see where you fit in with that. Is that how all this comes together? You have all three of those?
In numerology, you have the universal year that changed, but that's for everybody. Like, for example, we're going into the 2022. There's root number is a 6, so it's all about helping people, the people close to you. That's gonna be a priority next year with the energy helping, but also don't forget about yourself first before you can help other person. You have to stand good in your ground before you can help people.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the January is going to be a 7 universal month, and a lot of after the new year, a lot of people I think need to take a step back and go inward to deep dive in themselves, what they really want to accomplish for the whole year. And being also with the 22 number, it ends with 22, is all about also building on your dreams, going inward to focus on what do you want to build for the oncoming year with the changes that's happening. So also with numerology, it's more like a guidance with the energy that's coming with the year and month. So I see it. And when I talk with people, for example, with the personal year number, that's everybody has a personal year number, and I ask them, hey, I give them the information about the personal year number, and always it's like, oh yeah, I've been going through that all year. So they're doing, a lot of people are doing it, going with the energy without they even knowing. It's all divine. All right, put it that way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that explanation of how whenever I bring people into the matrix, that they begin to go, oh my gosh, Sarah, I see it now. Like the Philip experiment, or the power of suggestion or projection or manifestation. Like, oh my gosh, you mentioned this and then this and then this, and now I feel so magical. And it's just a small nudge of awareness, and you can find it anywhere. It's like finding your pulse. You can find it in your neck, in your wrist. You can look, you can find it anywhere. And it's a connection that we all have. So I like that, like Alex using that numerology and noticing that people will go, man, that's been my life all year. How do you know that? And it's like, guess what else I know, and it's really exciting to be able to help people feel connected, because I think the age of Aquarius, with where is this that we all have, we're not really connected anymore. We don't really meet our neighbor anymore. We don't know who they are.
But I mean, but think astrology and numerology, they should be connected. Both are based on your birth dates and birth information. So that's why they fit together and why they work. It's based off the same information, young lady.
Right? And it's just like the double slit experiment. They just have to look at it. They just have to be aware of it. And it's just 10 crunches a day to get the 6-pack. It's so easy.
But that's why it makes sense for sure, and why Alex does it so good too. Yeah, it's all the same information we're using, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to get an imprint of each person, and then we fit it into those systems that we use. That's why they all work. Yeah.
That's why they all work. And you don't have to worry about being wrong.
That's right. That's why I like what you said. It's true, because they all work. They all have their working aspects. As long as you put the right, you have the imprint of the person. So, which is usually the day of our birth, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Into this reality. So you have to have some starting point. Although with actually, there's some in different astrologies where they think. Actually, I remember back in the Japanese, what it had to do with with their conception, more so than the actually day of their birth. So in some Japanese and some cultures, Asian, I know they go right to the conception. That's why they like to go up to the north. Well, there's northern lights up to, into certain activities, and they go up to the north to do that.
Right.
To conceive.
And it's not just people. Yeah. It's not just people that have their own birth dates. It's also individual countries that have their own birth dates, individual states that have their birth dates, individual cities that have been founded on a particular date and time. So that all ties in.
Yeah. So based on that, when we talk about governments and people and larger scales, that their charts are based on their births as well. So when you have the birth of a country, it's based on that. You take their longitude, their latitude, and all their information. Yeah.
Or
so it doesn't
the birth of Microsoft.
Yes, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
the-
we can track it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yeah. All of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And then I'll throw something for Sarah and that based on as well as that information. As you know, you then can create the sigils and seals, very complicated seals based on the astrological charts, of course.
Man, if you're good at math and you're good at doing that kind of stuff, drawing and architecture, and that the sigil stuff will be right down your alley. Or runes. I love that Nordic
Seals.
runes and sigils, Solomon seal, same thing.
Seals.
It's all the same thing.
John, Max Vision remote viewing. Recently, many have used astrology to predict times, like recently information was going to be revealed. So I asked if people would wish for people to see it. We can do many more and bigger things. Sure.
Like the collective consciousness and
Yeah.
the close encounters of the fifth kind, where they're doing the thought experiments and the global mutations. And I do think that there's something to that. I think when people talk about connecting with aliens and they do so well with that at like drum circles and fire dancing and places where there's a collective group really focusing on something.
Yes.
Or prayer. I see that in the power of prayer too. I really do. But I think they all validate the same thing, the science. It's a macro micro system, but it's still the same self-regulating, dynamic, living thing that breathes and is.
And here's a primary example, Sarah, and Jules can speak to this. In Australia, just a few days ago, one of the towns there, they've all been saying no to a mandate or a referendum that they had to show proof of certain things before they could even get into a shopping store and be scanned and everything else. And people said no. And they've been having their ceremonies. They've been having their meditations. They've been doing this subconscious group collective activity. And everything was, what's called recounted, right? Is that the word they use?
The mandates were recanted.
Yeah.
Really? That's wonderful.
That's good.
One by one, every store, every shop owner said no. They reversed everything. They reversed it all. In this is one community.
And I say that not to be anti-vax, but anti-mandate.
That's the three becoming one.
You're number one with us.
It's really amazing. I'm trying to think, where is my darn visual that I usually keep here? Shame on me. Oh, here it is. Okay, so Matt will giggle at me because I use this a lot whenever we're talking about like occult things, but I use it too in clinical psychology, and our alchemists in the group will notice this. But man, I always revert to the earth, water, air, fire, energy, and the yin and yang and the connection. And I feel like when we were once in Pisces and in 2012 and 2021 really shifted into Aquarius because things started to be dependent on liking and are we accepted by others and can we share it on Facebook and the algorithms and all of this stuff. Right now, the mandates, and if you push back, it's like you have an intention and you think about it, then you feel about it, and it goes back and forth until eventually the pressure breaks that control valve, and then you talk about it. But this is air energy where you get hecklers. Hey, I think I want to go run for president. That's stupid. You shouldn't do that. Oh, you're right. I should rethink that idea. Unless you thought enough about it and you know what you're doing. And then you say, sit down. I know what I'm doing. And you do it anyway. And then you go to fire. And so I feel like this right now, we're in air. This is Aquarius. This is a space where people need to know. You better know, because if you don't know what you think you know, someone's going to take advantage of you. Someone's going to take advantage of you. So you have to say, no, I don't think so. Why? Well, because this. And be sure. Why? Because my mama told me. Because my doctor told me. Because I heard it from a stone. Because I heard it from the stars. Because I read it in a book. Because I heard it on TikTok. I don't know. I don't care. But you should know. And you should feel secure in it. Otherwise, you're going to waver. So I like hearing that people said, hell no, we won't go. Because that will change things.
Yes, it will. And it does.
We've also experimented with her chart there of this kind of the yin and the yang energy, so the earth and water kind of equaling the air and fire, and looking at the different charts. Like right now, the bulk of the planets right now, right this second, are in Earth, so it's a very Earth heavy chart right now. But we've experimented with kind of looking at how that shifts week to week when we kind of check in and see how things move. Like when there's a lot of things in air, you have a lot of people, you even see it on social media, you'll have a lot of people arguing, you'll have a lot of people, not a lot of doing, but just a lot of talking. Like, you know, right now I would expect a lot of material type, you know, some idea stuff, but a lot of material based things. Again, I think this is a good, going back to what we said earlier, if somebody was in sales or selling things, and I mean, it is the holiday season, people are buying a lot of, like, you know, there's going to be a material focus. And you just even think about
the end of the world,
here in the States, you know, inflation and all the price, you know, people are preoccupied with stuff right now. That's like the emphasis.
Stuff. Yeah. Like George Carlin said, stuff. You need to know what's important. Like Alex mentioned, this next year is a shift to know what's important. And it's going to be your systems. It's going to be the people. It's going to be your bonds. It's going to be that if you run out of meat because you can only hoard so much, that your neighbor has a skill that can be reciprocated and useful to you, and that you can barter and share and trust one another.
Unity, community.
It's your family. It's your family and your friends that nobody can take away from you except you yourself.
True.
No edict can take those away from you.
Yeah, just a few months ago, it was announced here. I live in a rural area. I'm surrounded by farmland, cattle, and sheep, and corn, and some other like lettuce, spinach, things like that. And since this food shortage they've been talking about is going to be coming down the pike, already it's hard to get beef or pork right off the farm, you know, so you got to get your stuff in, your orders in now, you know, to stock up for the winter in case there is some type of shortage. So a group of us were talking about this about 6 months ago. During the middle of summer, they opened up when 3 roads come together and there's an island that sticks out, and they usually have Christmas tree sales. Now they have the Gardeners Exchange, where anybody who does any kind of gardening or any kind of growing can bring their stuff and trade. So I was able to get fresh carrots, you know, and squash because I couldn't grow them myself. But in turn, I gave them my strawberries and I gave them some of my peppers. And so I took, we just bartered in plants too, seeds and plantlings. Yeah. So I took in some extra pepper plantlings I didn't have room for. And in exchange, I got some plantlings for some tomatoes. And it was strictly barter. There was no money or cash exchange for any of this. And it's the community. Go ahead, Jules.
Start smart. Use your heart. Be a part of art. Barter. It's all art. It's all art.
I like it.
And that's the creative part of it. Yeah, it's all creative. When you're actually doing it, it's the creative, and that's what it's all about, is getting creative and being who your gift and your talent is, you know.
Well, if you look at it from a financial standpoint, with the Kondratiev cycles, which are roughly 80 years, so take a quarter of that would be, you know, 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, what did you have? You had the Y2K crisis. And that's also when everybody was hoarding cash and hoarding food, and everybody was panicking just because an ATM machine went down. It was like the end of the world or something like that. And what happened? Nothing.
Time was going to stop. But people made a lot of money. Stocks changed. Retirement shifted. People lost a lot of things that weren't aware of how to prepare for that moment. And I think when we talked about, Teresa, you mentioned that manipulation. For those of us who are aware, come the new year and that servitude and that bartering and, oh shit, my internet's down, I guess I need to learn how to do that. And you go to the market and someone tries to sell you some pizza seeds. I hope you know.
Taco seeds I can accept. Taco seeds I'll accept. Pizza.
Because some people are going to be standing in line for that. Some people are going to be so excited.
Just add
I
water.
just tell you, because I'm a seed sower.
It sounds like getting your
I had-
magic beans.
Yeah.
And they're going to make a lot of money, and they're going to sell them for at least $9 a seed. And those of us over here are going to be going, "Are you kidding me? You can't do that's no." And the person's going to go, "No, it's fine. We're fine here. We're fine." And if you don't know, it goes back to this thing. Someone just tells you because you told you, you better know so that you can advance into that next space and take advantage of the energy, not abuse the energy.
Well, the let you see seeds, the lettuce, the let you see seeds.
Oh.
And as I always say, let us pray.
Let us
Anyway, I've told people, oh, that's a lettuce that's gone to seed. And they said, a lettuce goes to seed. Like, how else would you get more lettuce if it didn't go to seed? And the other day I had a gathering of women in my garden in my house, and I sent them out to pick all from the garden to bring back for lunch. And they said, is that a lettuce there that's grown so tall? I said, yeah, it's ready to go to seed. It was a meter high, the lettuce in my garden. And so I said, yeah, you can eat the leaves still, but they'll be a bit bitter. So good, that's good for your liver. Anyway, I was quite proud of myself. I stepped out of the kitchen and I let two girls use my kitchen. So I'm backing away from having to be in charge in my kitchen.
There you go.
Wow.
That's a big let go, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
It is a big let go, because everyone knows from being in the kitchen all the time, cooking for everybody. Yeah. That's where I live, doing my other sort of alchemy. It was but it was easy. It actually flowed rather simply. It was just to back away and move those two in the kitchen. And they loved it, and they've made a connection now. So that's where knowing what to do at the time was to back away and let them come in. And now they've made this special connection, and they're going to actually live together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, folks, it's 10:20. We've gone over the hour. My goodness, and we could do this all night with Matt and Sarah. Yeah, we definitely could. But we gotta
night long.
I knew that was coming.
So I just want to give everybody an opportunity to, Sarah, we have included you in the website. We told you that before the show. Karen has added a page in there for you. Folks, every Tuesday night, these two are on together. You stream on both the Paranormal Channel and Sarah's channel, right? You stream on both of those?
Matt's channel.
Because I was in yours last night. I was in yours last night.
I was there too.
Matt's, and I'm like, where's Lori?
I know. I'm like, where's Teresa?
We're everywhere. String theory, all 11. We're there.
So you give a weekly outlook, a weekly energy reading, if you will, every Tuesday night, just about, right?
Yep. Yeah. And then that way, if you want to journal, you want to practice your intuition, you want to figure your stuff out and go, okay, when am I going to be badass and when am I not? Yeah. You can follow along with us weekly and get an idea, and it's really fun. And so we want to see you there.
We have folks that do tarot card readings regularly. We have folks that do, but having a channel to go to that does, that's what I'm finding comfort in, is that I've got somewhere to go on Tuesday evening. At what time is it?
9 p.m. Central Standard. You just come on over with your tarot cards and squeeze right in there.
Yeah, sometimes you do the tarot readings.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, and you read on me and Lori the other night. Yeah.
We do all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah. And Matt, man, he does like playlists and horror, top movie horror, and and like all sorts of fun things. And so between the two of us, you're going to find something paranormal, crazy, horror.
Yeah.
You're into that sort of thing.
But that lady that psychic you had on psychic you had on Sunday. Oh my God. She's fantastic. Wonderful energy. I really want, she's going to be back fairly regularly, right?
She's going to be back this coming Sunday. We're going to have her back on.
Oh, awesome. If y'all didn't see it, go to the Paranormal Channel. It's we've got the link in the YouTube description. Watch Matt's show with this lady. She's a doctor, is she not?
Not a doctorate in, but she's done this for like 30 some years. Really has a really interesting story and just a really bright light personality and just a really.
I know she worked in the medical community. I know that because she was talking about how she used to have to talk to some of the coworkers to change their mindset with dealing with patients who are terminal and stuff. But she's got a lot of past life experience and understanding past lives, and she's got a lot of story. But she sees spirits. She talks to spirits. She's just got an incredible amount of experience. It's a wonderful person. So, and I hear
you only hang out with cool people, Teresa.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The best.
That's right.
So, but she's going to be like a regular periodically with you guys, right?
Yes. Yes, she will.
Good.
So
Looking forward
and
to
she's
that.
coming back this Sunday.
She'll be on this Sunday. So.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good. All right. Now, if you want to get in touch with Sarah, just use the Crystal Network, you guys. You can book an appointment with her.
It's in the description as
well.
well.
You have packages for the holidays. Do you have like a gift thing going on, or was that just last week?
No, man, there's all kinds of crazy things I'm doing. I'm doing giveaways. I'm doing like Christmas drawings and things. We had the tornado hit, which kind of threw me off just a little bit because I was doing my nightly readings, but on Friday I wasn't there, and people were like, "Were you alive?" And I'm like, "Yes, I was just responding to crisis calls because I'm a mental health worker." But yeah. All sorts of things on paranormalsarah.com if you're into divination or psychic stuff where you want to learn or you want to gift something cool, a homemade altar item. I do witchy shopping, which is kind of fun. People that can't get out and shop anymore and want a cool item and they're like, I don't know, I'm just looking for something like this. Then I'll do your witchy shopping for you, and it's kind of fun. So we do all kinds of cool stuff at paranormalsarah.com. You can find me over there.
Yeah, and you book sessions too. I know you have different programs too for people.
It's
for readings and
weird.
Things like that. Yeah.
It's there.
All right, well, go check it out, everyone. It's pretty cool. And let's see. I have to make the announcement on Sunday. Andromeda 7 is not doing a show Friday. What we're doing Friday is we're releasing an encore presentation with Michelle Mozzarella, the one we did with Mozzarella like 7, 8, 9 months ago, and it's really a good show. It's quite long, but it's very, very interesting. So we thought we would go ahead and release that for Friday. And then 2 days ago, day before yesterday, Gloria Canning contacted us from Open Minds and Inception Radio, and she wants to do her very first live stream on Saturday afternoon. In the United States, it's Saturday afternoon, but it's UK time. It's like 7 p.m. UK time. With Gloria Canning for the Inception program that goes on Forbidden Knowledge News.
Will be on her show.
Will be on her show. So Lori and I are being interviewed by her. Just happened like a day before yesterday, and we said, "Okay, we'll help you out." She's testing Zoom Pro. She usually does pre-records and gives those to Forbidden Knowledge News Network, and what she's doing this time is a live stream. So we said we would be her guinea pigs and work with her because we've been there, done that.
She's a great lady. Yeah,
Use
really
us.
like her.
We'll help you.
Yeah,
we'll help you because we're trying to get her into the community. She's on the website as well.
Yep.
She's got some great channels.
Yeah. I put that on the front page too with your new show with her.
Yes.
So it's on there too on the
Inception
podcast and the Open Minds.
Yeah.
Inception podcast.
This is called Inception Saturday Night Live, and then she has the Inception specials, and then she has the open eight doors open podcast as well. So she's got 3 or 4 different
amazing
kinds.
how much she does.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's like interviewing people 24/7.
Yep.
But then Sunday is Nina, and Nina's Sunday giveaway. For winter solstice party. So Karen, you're giving away crystals that you've mined yourself. Yeah.
We're doing. Yeah, Nina and I are putting it on actually in the Crystal Network. So it's Sunday, and just go on to the front of the Crystal Network, and there's a enter to win, and you just have to watch the video to enter your name automatically. You don't even have to be at the show, but you do have to watch the video and follow the instructions. So ahead of time, Nina is going to be collecting everybody's names. And so, there's going to be Nina's doing readings, spell in the bottle. There's jewelry. Like I said, I'm doing crystals and crystal collections.
Nice. This is great. No sacrifice or bloodletting or anything. Just show up.
Tumblers. So there's going to be some T-shirts and from the different Andromeda 7, Milky Way, and Wayne's
Rocky
Channel.
Scoochie original. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
that's Rocky.
Yeah. Oh, and the Soul Tribes our deck, our card decks. There's a couple card decks too. So that's
giveaways.
Sunday. Great winter solstice giveaway.
Just a winter solstice party.
Yeah, and everybody can show up and come. She's going to have different people come on and off, and hopefully Teresa or Lori. Yeah, just different people. But yeah, make sure to enter.
Okay. Say no more.
I'll be able to jump in. I have time on Sunday, so I'll jump in and hang out for a little bit, and then we'll be giving away the T-shirt, and the T-shirt was by David Barry's shop.
Yeah, what we decided to do, was just how many T-shirts or whatever. Whoever wins, we decided that they can just go on to David Barry's and pick the T-shirt of their choice for size, which would be better because he has a whole range of things on his page, so they could pick which one they wanted. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we're going to have you guys back sometime, I hope.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Love to have you back.
Love to be back.
You'll be seeing me in the chat room more often now that I've got a little schedule down here. Enjoying it. Yeah, I'm getting a lot out of it. So
me too. Enjoy.
Anybody? Oh, and our heartfelt Trina lost her dog today. Zodiac had to be put down, and she's been going through it quite a while with Zodiac. They hung in there quite a bit together. So our heart goes out to Trina.
Yeah.
And Trina has a very positive mindset about it, though. She knows Zodiac's going to the Rainbow Bridge with other dogs she's had, and she knows that her energy will be with her for a while. So
yeah, and there's already on the homepage to everybody. There's in loving memory, and there's the couple pictures of Zodiac there. And Deborah wrote a beautiful poem and saying about the pet. So
that's wonderful.
The loving part, and it's excellent in memory of our soul tribe member Zodiac. So it's right on the homepage, everybody.
And congratulations and much appreciation to Divine Spirit and the universe for delivering Scotty Roberts through and getting him through his anxiety and his procedure on his heart. It went really, really well. It was a blockage. He was right to go in. He went in, used his instincts, and said, I got to get in there. He had a blockage. They blew it out, the stent, and he didn't have to have another bypass. He didn't have to stay home during the holidays. He's home recovering, and he made it through with flying colors. So we're very happy for you, Scotty. And thanks to everyone who sent your intents and thoughts and healing energies to Scotty to get him through that ordeal. We really appreciate it. So that's it. If there's any other announcements, am I missing anything?
Nope. Good? You got it. You got it
All
covered.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Matt.
You.
Much
Good
love.
night, guys.
Much love, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.